Democrats are saying, not so fast. That's not your money. That's our money.
President Trump says he likes the idea of giving some of the savings from DOGE back to Americans as kind of a dividend. Would you support that?
No, we are not in the business of giving out money. And honestly, I don't know what $5,000 will do for you if you are unable to find a job, because I am telling people we are headed towards a recession.
The Democrats saying $5,000 won't do anything for you are the same ones who said your house just burned down in Maui. Oh, here's $750. Crockett used to love checks.
Crap for them daggone stimmy checks. That is my message.
Right.
Because again, I just explained to you the co-equal branches of government.
Right.
It was Nancy Pelosi who was running the House at the time, not back of Mike, but Nancy. It was Sister Nancy.
Right.
You need to thank Nancy.
We had to print money to send out those checks. With the DOGE stimmy, we don't have to. It's a rebate check. They took it from you and you're getting it back. People in North Carolina, the Pacific Palisades, Maui, they could use a check right about now. Even the bureaucrats who were laid off could use the rebate.
No, we are not in the business of giving out money. And honestly, I don't know what $5,000 will do for you.
So let's get this straight. She's not for America spending money, $5K, giving back to the people. But how about money spent to Ukraine? How about money spent on illegal immigrants? How about money spent just sending money overseas to other countries? That's okay. Now, $5,000 might not be so much money to some, but hey, that could actually help out a vast majority of average Americans. All right, 5K, 1K, 2K, whatever the amount is, it could be useful for something. Better than zero. But she has the audacity to say no. She's against it. I try to wonder the mind of a Democrat. How does it function?
Okay, Jasmine Crockett, let me speak to you. Heart to heart, sister. This is what I don't get. I'm not taking nothing away from you. You are an intelligent black woman, right? But what gave you the idea that the American taxpayers don't deserve money back? I want you to answer that respectfully. And I'm upset about that. And I know you don't care who I am or whatever, but I really want you to think about that, what you just said. You're saying that the hard-working Americans who pay their taxes faithfully, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. My mom just passed in November. Dad passed. They were hard-working people who never benefit off of this. But now you saying those people don't deserve nothing back? And this the kicker. But it's okay for the illegals to live the American dream. House them, clothe them, feed them, let them open up businesses, big homes, drive cars. Yeah, that's how they living in Texas. I live here. But it's not okay that we just get a little bit back from what we worked so hard for. I need you to think about that, Miss Crockett. Because it seems that you're doing good. So you're not worried about that. But the people that I see around me out here on the streets starving and asking me for a few dollars. Can I have this? Can I have that? I just want you to just think before you open your mouth. All right? God bless you. Peace.
Jasmine Crockett said, you don't need $5,000. We're not in the business of giving away money. Yes, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett said in an interview the other day on the heels of this whole Doge dividend conversation where President Trump and Elon Musk are considering giving 20% of the money that the Doge team has uncovered to taxpayers in like $5,000 to $8,000. Those are the numbers that are allegedly being floated around. And she said in an interview, you do not need $5,000. We're not in the business of giving away money. And that got me thinking. Let me know what you think. I thought when people run for Congress and Senate and all those roles up in D.C., the taxpayers vote them in, right? They campaign and we go to the polls and we vote them in. So essentially, our vote gives them their job. We're called constituents. So in the Dallas area, the 30th district, people voted for Jasmine Crockett to be their congresswoman representing the 30th district. So her job is to go to DC and represent everyone in the 30th district that voted for her. So she goes and she speaks on our behalf, right? That's what I thought the job was. Let me know down in the comments if I misunderstood something. But what it looks like to me is she's added, like, she's flipped the JD, the job description around and said, yeah, no, I'm going to tell you what you need. And you don't need $5,000. We don't give money away. We're not in the business of giving money away. And I'm thinking, did she literally say that? And I want to know the people who voted for her in the 30th district in Dallas. Do you need $5,000? Because I bet you do. Because, I mean, most people need any kind of $1,000. Any kind of $1,000 is not a real word, but I'm just saying, you know what I mean? But now the other thing that had my mind spinning was, who was in the business of giving money away when back in the last administration, everybody and their mama was getting stimmy checks? I didn't get one, but people were getting stimmy. Who was in the business of that money giveaway? And who was in the business of giving away all the money that went to the illegal migrants crossing the border? And who was in the business of giving away all that federal funding for Texas to support and supplement all of the people that came across the border illegally? Who was what business who was giving that money away? Like, was she not in the business of giving that money away either? And because things cost so much, groceries cost so much, people are struggling to pay their bills, why does she get to say, and who is she to get to say who needs $5,000 and who doesn't? If the Doge team has uncovered enough mishandling of money, allegedly, and President Trump's like, yeah, I want to give some of this back to the taxpayers in the form of a Doge dividend, a stimulus check, whatever, how does she get to say, meanwhile, she works for us. Remember, we live in Dallas. She works for us. How does she get to then say, you don't need $5,000? So it's kind of like when I see it in my head, I'm like, okay, so the Doge team, the Department of Treasury, whoever, cuts the check, sends it out, she's going to say, you don't need that. What? I mean, she might not need $5,000, but I bet you there's a whole bunch of people, constituents of hers in Dallas, who actually need $5,000. Let me know what you think down in the comments.
What's the saying? Even a hit dog a holler? Well, birth! These dogs are hollering, boy. Doge is putting in work, baby. Let's get into it. Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett has a reported net worth of $9 million despite being paid $174,000. She's been yelling a whole lot lately. Jasmine Crockett owns $2 million townhouse in Dallas, $1.5 million loft in Austin, Texas, $1.5 million lakefront cabin in Galveston, Texas. Crockett's net worth grew substantially last year during the 2024 election. Do you think members of Congress use their positions to self-enrich themselves? Hell yes! So if you see all these politicians yelling and talking about let's go to war in the streets, let's go ahead and do a deep dive on them. Jasmine Crockett, your days are number 2. You yelling a whole lot.
Do you know why Jasmine Crockett doesn't need that $5,000? Because she's made enough money stealing from the American people. Do you know why she doesn't need the $5,000 doesn't mean anything to her? because she has already been bought and paid for by the Democrat establishment and has become their talking point in their blackface. The rest why she doesn't need it. Jasmine went into Congress relatively middle class. Now she is worth $3 to $9 million. Ask yourself this. How did Jasmine go from being worth $177,000, which is probably about around her salary, to now she's worth, she's a multi-millionaire with no businesses that she has. She has no real businesses. She has no companies. How did she make it? She made it all off politics. When people are making that type of money off politics, it only means one thing: corruption.
Huh? I know my ears don't got that much wax in them. Did this woman, this jigaboo, say we're not in the business of giving out money? Oh. To date, we have provided $65.9 billion in military assistance since Russia launched premeditated, unprovoked, and brutal full-scale invasion of Ukraine on February 24th, 2022, and approximately $69.2 billion in military assistance since Russia's initial invasion of Ukraine in 2014. We have now used the emergency presidential drawdown authority on 55 occasions since August 2021 to provide Ukraine military assistance totaling approximately $27.688 billion from DoD stockpiles. Let's not forget what these guys just spit on. Oh, but look though, it says presidential. So who was that at that point in time? Miss Crockett? Joe Biden. But we do know that Joe Biden was not really running America. And yet he's a Democrat. So if he was not running America and Kamala wasn't, then it was y'all. So thank you for fucking up America and then telling us, well, we don't need $5,000. We need that and then some, lady. The fuck?
I heard Jasmine Crockett said that Americans can't do much with $5,000. So I wanted to give you guys some ideas of things that you can most definitely do with $5,000 if you do get that refund check from Doge. So if you're one of the Americans who's been stuck in a house that's a little bit too small, you could actually build a small tiny home in the back of your home with $5,000. So you could get a shed, especially if you're a chick, you could get a she shed, and you could create an entire little oasis for yourself in your backyard with your $5,000 check. Let's think about some other ideas. You could also potentially maybe start a coffee stand. So if you wanted to create like a little pop-up, like mobile food situation, $5,000 is a good amount of startup capital to start something like this, and that could generate more capital for you, making this an investment. What is some other stuff you could do with $5,000? Okay, and let's keep it real. Like $5,000 is a pretty decent vacation. Like, it's a pretty decent vacation, Jasmine. Like, what are you talking about? Like, so that's number 3, a vacation. And I mean, and don't do a staycation, like something like stateside. Like, you really got a decent amount of coin to have a good time. Other more mundane things, pay off some debt. I'm pretty sure a lot of us got a credit card around that $5,000 would either eliminate or put a big dent in. So yeah, that's going to be a big deal. $5,000 to your car note. You want to pay off $5,000 of your car? What else? I mean, you can go get a whole cow. I mean, that's what I've been waiting. I've been so thirsty to go get a cow, y'all. Like, $5,000 would get you, I think it would get you an entire cow, and then you can go get a pig too, and maybe a whole bunch of eggs. $5,000 would go really far for a food stockpile. Like, let's just say that. So you could, of course, invest it in some stocks. And we know that if you invest in the right stocks, it could really pay off big for you. But I make this video to say that saying that $5,000 doesn't have impact for the American people is a very kind of haughty thing to say, because $5,000 could be life-changing. It could just be cool, or it could be life-changing for some people. And I think for her to judge and say that it's not of impact was a really arrogant thing to say, and the American people would like to have the chance to show you that you're wrong, Jasmine.
Do y'all know who Representative Jasmine Crockett is? Because I didn't know either, man. But I just found out, man. I just seen a video, man. It's this black woman, right? She's there giving an interview on ABC talking about we are not in the business of giving money. Talking about the $5,000 that Elon and Trump are trying to issue the taxpayers. And I'm like, did this bit just say we are not in the business of giving away money? It's our money, ho! It's our money. It's our money, bro. The fact that we gotta ask permission to get it back is crazy, bro. Yo, we really gotta start standing up for ourselves, bro. We gotta start marching, man. We gotta start protesting, bro. No taxation without representation. We gotta bring it back 2025 edition, man. Bring all Gen X, man. Bring all those new generations, man, that grew up weird, man. Believe me, nobody hates the system more than them, man. Let's bring them aboard. Let's teach them about this. I'm pretty sure they didn't teach them that in school because a lot of them don't even know how to read. No, a lot of them can't really write that well. But I feel like if we really get them on board with this, we're like, you know, you could buy a house, you could buy a car, you can afford your many dogs, man. I'm pretty sure they'll get on board with us, man, and they'll crash out. They don't care because they got nothing to live for. They don't got no kids, they don't got nothing. They can't even afford a dog.
So Jasmine Crockett says she don't know what $5,000 would do for the American people, especially if we don't have a damn job. Apparently these people has been stealing our tax dollars for a very long damn time. And if they want to start with giving me $5,000, I'm going to take it as a down payment.
Good morning, Jasmine Crockett. So I saw you do an interview where you questioned, like, what would $5,000 even do? So I just wanted to give you a heads up that here in New Jersey, right, our taxes are just forever going up. And with everything that was going on under the Biden administration, we made the difficult decision to sell the home that our kids grew up in because 2 of them are out of the house. And we downsized quite a bit to factor in taxes and our retirement coming up and planning for the future to be economically smart. And when we did that, the home we moved into needed improvements because of, you know, the New Jersey real estate market. And did you know in New Jersey that when you go to improve a home that you purchase, before you can even break ground, you have to pay $5,000 into affordable housing. And did you know that usually the affordable housing projects that go up in small towns don't have to pay taxes for quite a while, maybe even exempt completely. It depends on the contract they draft. So if I were to receive $5,000 back of my own money, it would reimburse me for the $5,000 I had to pay into affordable housing. And since I'm married, if my husband were to get a $5,000 check, that would probably cover the increase that we just got in taxes because Murphy's S2 funding formula that's not transparent cut state funding to 137 districts here in New Jersey. And last year, the district that my kids go to already riffed all of the non-tenured teachers. And that wasn't enough. They had to increase our school taxes by 9.9%. And there's an upcoming referendum in that town for $92 million more because their roofs are leaking and just general maintenance that things are falling apart. So not only that, but 20% increases in energy here in New Jersey are about to happen to our electric that already has been through the roof this winter, not to account for gas. So that other $5,000 would probably just cover the tax and energy increases that are happening. So while that might not do anything for you, when the cost of living has increased so dramatically in just 2 or 3 years, you need to get reconnected with your population because responsible, working to the max people are just at a level that isn't sustainable, and it's beginning to get quite uncomfortable. I would like to include that I'm not against affordable housing projects. I'm just against how they are underfunded despite the amount of taxes that we pay. And then when they are given tax exemptions, there is not additional funding that goes to support the schools when the school budgets are not supplemented through the state funding.
Now, Jasmine, Pop K gonna help. An unpopular opinion, Jasmine's not wrong. Because how long can you stretch $5,000 if we're in a recession or we don't have jobs? Let me know what y'all think.
So no, we are not in the business of giving out money. And honestly, I don't know what $5,000 will do for you.
You serious?
Jasmine Crockett. Yeah. Jasmine Crockett. If y'all don't know who Jasmine Crockett is, look her up. She's a Democrat out there in Texas. I think she's a senator or something. I don't know what she is. But she just told everybody around the world that they don't need $5,000 stimulus checks. Yeah. She said we not in the business of giving out money. Yeah, that's what she told the American people. But if y'all not in the business of giving out money, y'all gave $500 billion to Ukraine. So what type of business was that? Yeah, you just told the American people they're struggling with gas, rent, groceries. They don't need $5,000. Y'all don't need it. That's what she told you. No. Let's get some understanding, Jasmine Crockett. Yeah. I'm talking to you. You don't need $5,000. You got a net worth of $9 million, lady. You make over $100,000 a year. Let's get that understood. You don't need it. Looking like a damn chihuahua. Talking about the American people, we don't need $5,000. They don't need $5,000. Take your ass and just go to hell. Because this is what the Democrats do. They want to forever keep y'all down. Let's just say that. They forever want to keep the people down. If y'all down, they up. Go to hell.
So Jasmine Crockett was just on the tube stating how they're not in the business of giving out money. This is in regards to the dividend payments that President Trump is thinking of giving back to the taxpayers. Jasmine Crockett is in favor of reparations. Jasmine Crockett is in favor of giving money to the illegal immigrants in our country. So Jasmine Crockett actually is in favor of giving out money. She's just not in favor of giving out money to you, the hardworking taxpayers of the country. I'm not a fan of Jasmine Crockett. I think that she gives off this I'm better than you attitude. I'm not really a fan of that. And if you listen close, they say the quiet part out loud all the time. So people in Texas, the next time the election cycle rolls around and Jasmine Crockett's name is on that ballot, you might want to think twice about who you're putting in there, because she's put on full display. She doesn't give a about you.
$5,000. What can y'all do with $5,000? Well, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett seems to think that the American people can't do anything with $5,000. So she basically said that they're not in the business of giving away money, and what would $5,000 do if we were to have a recession and you can't find a job? Well, I'm sure most Americans, if you can't find a job, $5,000 would actually assist you until you can find a job. $5,000 will help with utilities, food, some people's mortgage, rent, things like that. And who wouldn't want an extra $5,000, no matter what you did with it? So I just thought that was just kind of odd. But I just wanted to come on and let you all know that Miss Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, who's supposed to be speaking for the people, don't seem to think that $5,000 would help the American people. The average American makes less than $70,000 a year. So, of course, with her making $180,000 a year and worth millions, so they say, she may not need $5,000, but I'm sure $5,000 would help the average American person.
I find it very interesting that the only time Democrats are worried about the budget is when it is something that affects them. So recently, Jasmine Crockett was on TV, asked about her thoughts on Trump to potentially giving $5,000 rebate checks to American families. She made some ridiculous comments saying that we're not in the business of giving out money, and I don't know what $5,000 is supposed to do for you. But then she asked the question, how are we going to afford this? We can't afford to give away $5,000 to every American family in the form of rebate checks. I find this very interesting because I wonder if Jasmine Crockett asked the same thing over the last few years when they were putting migrants up in luxury hotels in New York City. I would like to know, did you also ask, how can we afford to do that? Out of all of the things that Elon Musk has found that our government has spent our taxpayer dollars on, did you advocate for the American citizens and ask, wait a minute, how are we going to afford this? How can we afford to send money to this country and that country for this purpose and that purpose? Did you stand up and represent the people in your district when you saw their hard-earned tax dollars sent all over the world? Or are you just concerned now because you're trying to emerge as the Democratic Party's new leader because your party is running around like chickens with their heads cut off? Because that's what it appears to be.
We are not in the business of giving out money. And honestly, I don't know what $5,000 would do for you. Those words were said by Miss Jasmine Crockett. Miss Jasmine Crockett, there are people struggling in the United States. There are people working 9 to 5s that are struggling in the United States. That $5,000 will help a lot of families. Now, I know to you, maybe $5,000 isn't a lot of money, but it will definitely help a lot of American families. And since we're on the topic of giving out money, we had some migrants that came to our country. They live rent-free. Our country gave them a lot of money. There wasn't complaints about our country giving these people a lot of money. Then we have some other situations where our country was giving out a lot of money to other countries. And I'm not sure if I've seen anybody complaining about that. Here's the thing. America needs to help Americans because Americans need help. Help Americans. Don't be stubborn. I'm out.
Bleach blonde, bad built butch body. Bleach blonde, bad built butch body. Bleach blonde, bad built butch body. Bleach blonde, bad built butch body.
That's the part I don't understand. Like with the Democrats, like they would be upset about him giving people that money up to $5,000. I would not be upset about that. And I think most people wouldn't. And some would probably say, oh, I can't believe this publicly, but privately, they would be happy to get it. There are a number of people that need that money for whether it's for bills or for unexpected expenses. Obviously, groceries, like prices are really high right now. And I want to remind you of something, because a lot of times people say, well, Joe Biden gave us those stimulus checks. Congress gave us those checks. I want to remind you what happened under Donald Trump's presidency when the original stimulus was announced at $600. People forget this. So we're going to go back. We're going back 4 years. Listen to this.
Now to the national coronavirus response, as millions are left waiting for President Trump to sign or veto the latest coronavirus relief package. As Andrew Denbert reports, if it doesn't get signed into law by Tuesday, the federal government could face a shutdown.
The COVID relief bill now flown to Florida. Its fate will be determined by President Trump. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi tweeting that the 5,000-plus page COVID-19 omnibus spending bill was sent to President Trump, where he's spending the holiday at his Mar-a-Lago resort. All the while, many families don't know if they will even have a home to go to after the holiday.
The fact that Congress has taken this long is an insult to the American people. It is an insult to small businesses, it's an insult to the working poor, and it's an insult to the unemployed.
After Congress negotiated for the better part of 8 months to get this deal done, it's President Trump's move now. Will he sign it, veto it, or do nothing, which would also effectively kill the bill and the hopes of millions of Americans desperate for the economic aid?
It really is a disgrace.
Trump voiced his opposition to the sweeping economic relief effort at the 11th hour after lawmakers finally agreed to terms, taking Capitol Hill by surprise. The president asking for those direct cash payments to most Americans be increased to $2,000.
Pause. Because see, this is the part, all of a sudden people have a little bit of amnesia, but I don't. This is the part that people forget. And someone needs to remind Jasmine Crockett of this as well, right? For all the talk on the interviews right now, where a lot of politicians are saying, well, Donald Trump didn't give you guys anything. Congress did that. He had to sign it, didn't he? So there's that. And then two, they originally proposed $600. Does everybody not, am I losing it? Does everybody not remember this? The original proposal was $600. And he was the one that said, increase it from $600 to $2,000. But for some reason, nobody remembers this. For some reason, everybody's like, no, it was just Congress. Like I said, he had to sign it. Didn't Joe Biden promise you $2,000? Did Joe Biden give you $2,000? No, he didn't. Remember what he said? Joe Biden said, well, I promised the $2,000 checks, but you already got $600, so wink. So I just wanted to remind you of that, where that came from. So it would not surprise me if we were to get some type of stimulus. What would be surprising if it was the $5,000? But so that's why I said I'll believe it when I see it.
I want every minority to hear what Jasmine Crockett just said.
Now, President Trump says he likes the idea of giving some of the savings from Doge back to Americans as kind of a dividend. Would you support that?
So no, we are not in the business of giving out money. And honestly, I don't know what $5,000 will do for you.
Now, Jasmine Crockett is a huge component of reparations. Reparations in which would benefit most of the people that elected her. So for her to say that $5,000 is not necessary, when majority of the people that voted for her, it would benefit them, is a slap in the face. And it only shows just how out of touch the Democrat Party is. And it also goes to show that the Democrats, no matter how much Trump's policies will benefit minorities, it's going to always be a problem because the goal is to defeat Donald Trump. So I want every minority to hear this, to see this. Ask yourself, why would she be so much against you all receiving the $5,000 when the very people it will help the most is the people that look like her? It's because she's making over 6 figures a year. But so because she don't need the $5,000 and because their goal as an organization, and I call them an organization, is to defeat Donald Trump at every cost, then that's what they're going to do, even if it's on the back of taking away your freedom or taking away the very thing that you need to prosper.